Hello guys, welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to learn the top 5 most commonly used chess tactics and also with the examples. So let's start and get into the video. Let's start. So guys, in the first video we talked about the opening principles, and in this video this is all about tactics, and in the middle game how the tactics will work. So let's start with the first tactics, fork and double attacks. So in the forks and double attacks, the knight forks are the most dangerous and the most common. So let's start with the knight fork. So in this position, this is white to move, and fork means attacking two pieces in just one turn. You are attacking two pieces with one piece, and the two pieces are much more valuable than the piece. Let's say in this position you play knight captures f7 and you are attacking the queen and the rook. As you guys already know, the knight is worth 3 points and the queen is 9 and the rook is 5. So if right now the queen is kind of trapped, so that's kind of an exception. But if black could lose the rook, or black can move the queen, then he will lose the rook and he will be up material. So this fork is the most common tactical pattern which you must know, and knight forks are the most common and the most interesting ones. So the next fork is a fork with a pawn. So in this position it is white to move, and you guys have already seen the move that we can simply push d5 and we are attacking two pieces at the same time of worth much more value than the pawn. The pawn is 1 point and the bishop and the knight is 3 point, and whatever black moves, black will lose the bishop or the knight and white will be a completely winning position. And pawn forks, knight forks, both are very interesting and very important to remember the patterns. Now let's look at a fork by the queen and the bishop. So the double attack or the fork is a tactical pattern which is used to attack two pieces in the same time, and the two pieces cannot defend each other. So let's see the move. Queen d5 is the move. As you can see, the queen on the d5 square attacking the king on the f7 and the knight, and because it's a check you have to move the king and you cannot defend the knight and the king at the same time. So with this tactical pattern you will win material and white will be in a winning position. So this is also very important. And let's look at the bishop fork as well. So let's say in this position bishop d5 is a fork and which will attack both the knights, and the knights cannot defend each other. That's a very important point. The knight cannot check the king or move with tempo. So simply bishop d5 and we will get one of the knights, and that will be a completely winning position for white. So all the forks and double attacks are the most important positions to remember, and all the tactical patterns you will have to develop the tactical patterns until you go up to the rating ladder. So you have to practice the tactical patterns daily on a daily basis. So the next tactical pattern is making pins and utilizing pins. So what is a pin? So let's see. In this position, if we play the move bishop g5, this is a pin to the knight. Pin is when three pieces are in a line, then a enemy piece is in the first square, and in a middle there is two pieces. The last piece is the most valuable piece and the piece which is in the middle is the less valuable piece. So if the less valuable piece moves, then we can simply take the most valuable piece in the board. Let's say in this position this is not an absolute pin, so there is two types of pins, relative pins and absolute pins. So this is a relative pin because if black moves away the knight, let's say like knight g8, then we can simply take the queen with bishop captures d8, and that will be a completely winning position for white. So in this position black cannot move the knight, and we can utilize this pin, try to attack and create some pressure on this knight. So let's take some examples. In this position the knight is pinned and this is white's turn. So white can simply play a move like knight d5, and this will ultimately win him the control of the f6 square, and it is already double attacking the knight on the f6 square. So this is just attacking on the pinned piece and you will win material. So if black takes with knight captures, then you can simply take the queen, and that's a completely winning position for white. So that was the relative pin, because it is legal to move the knight on f6, but it will be losing. But let's say in this position this is white's turn. Let's say we play a move like bishop d5, and this is an absolute pin because you cannot move the knight on c6 because the piece behind is king and you cannot give the check to the king. You cannot get in check, so that is illegal. You cannot move the knight and this is just illegal. So this is called absolute pin. That means you cannot move the knight, that is not legal. But when the second knight is pinned on the f6 square, you can move the knight and lose your queen and lose the game, but that's not an absolute pin. So I believe you guys understand the concept of pin. So let's go to the next tactical pattern. The next tactical pattern is the skewer. So in the pin we can pin a queen to the king with the rooks as well. So rooks and other pieces can also be used. Rooks and bishops are the two pieces which can be used to make pins, and queen is also used sometimes at some very special cases. So in skewer, so this is white move, and white can simply play the move rook f7. So this is called a skewer. Skewer means three pieces are in the same rank. There is one enemy pieces, and the in between piece is the king, and the next to the king is a valuable piece which is attacking the opponent piece. So the piece that is next to the king, that will be more valuable than the enemy piece, or it can also be the same valuable piece, can be the same valuable piece or even less valuable piece, but that piece will not be defended, or cannot be defended. So it will be a check and will win the piece that will be next to the king. So this is also a very interesting and important tactical pattern you must know. So let's go to another two very important, most important tactical patterns of the day. Guys, the next tactical pattern is the discovered check. So is in this position it is white to move, and the discovered check is a pattern where there will be three pieces in a rank or even in the same horizontal position or even in a file. So there is three pieces, the queen, bishop and the opponent's king in the same position, which will be check. So let's see this position. Wherever the light square bishop moves, it will be a check to the king, and the light square bishop can move literally to anywhere to give the check. So this is just a position where I want to show you. This is not really a real game position, this is just a position in practice or something. So yeah, there is simply queen f6 and that will be winning. So just ignore that and learn the tactical pattern that's called discovered check. So in this position, white can simply play this move bishop to g4 check, and because this is a check to the king has to move, let's say king g7, and white can simply take this queen. So there will be lot of position. The discovered check is the most important. This is the like MVP, the most valuable piece of chess puzzle, or the most valuable tactics, MBT for that matter. So this is MBT, this is the most important tactical pattern you must know. So there will be lot of discovered checks that can be with rooks, with bishops, with knights. There the knight can be in between a bishop, a king, and then the knight will move and get this check. So discovered check is very important. And let's go to the very interesting and maybe even more interesting, and it is also connected to this. So let's go to the last tactical pattern. Guys, last but not the least, the most important is the double check, which is also kind of discovered checks, but it is more powerful and more interesting. So let's see. In this position it is white to move, and white can simply play knight to f6 double check, and black has to move his king because, as the name suggests, it's a double check by the queen and the knight. And in chess you can make only one move, and in only one move you cannot take both the pieces. So you have to move the king or take one of the checking pieces with the king. So in this position black has to move his king and get checkmated. So the double check is very important because the opponent is completely helpless. The opponent has to move his king and get checkmated or ultimately lose the game. So double check and discover check, the most important chess tactics, and these five are my top 5 picks chess tactics for beginners. You should learn all of them and try to implement them and practice them more and more. So I believe you guys like this video. If you guys liked it, then like, share, and don't forget to subscribe to the Chess Orcos channel. Goodbye guys.